Hi there, I'm in the lab with your mate JJ. Today is Electronics Project Day, and the silly job title for today is Circuit Sorcerer. Today I'm the Circuit Sorcerer. And the electronics project we'll be doing is our favorite type of electronics project, making a cable. It's going to be a pretty simple project today. We're just going to put one end on this end and one end on the other end. I found this old grungy bit of wire. It's old speaker wire. It should be good enough for our purposes. It won't be called upon to deliver much current, but the reason we're installing it is we want to deliver as many as 30 volts. 30 volts is, of course, quite a few volts. My Ryden power supplies at the back here, given the way they're configured, can only deliver about 19 volts. That's because they're buck converters and the input's just slightly over 19 volts. So actually you couldn't even deliver 19. It can deliver 18 volts, which tends to be fine. I don't usually need that many volts, but I have had just recently, while doing the experiments in learning the art of electronics, they have asked for 30 volt supply, and I haven't had a 30 volt supply, so consequently had to scale everything back and then scale the numbers. Of course, it wasn't a terrible problem, and if I had to keep doing that, that wouldn't be the end of the world. But I have these great big honking TENMA power supplies on the other side there. You can actually see them. They're the little thing that's popping up just there a little bit. There's two of them side to side. I'll put a link in the show notes to the TENMA power supply that I have. Anyway, those things are beefy and they can crunk out up to 31 volts they can be set up to. So certainly they can deliver 30 volts, which is pretty much the maximum we're likely to see in learning the art of electronics. In fact, we might not even see such high voltages again. They did say they tend to not operate over about 15 volts. If it's 15 volts, we can run it from here. But if we need more than about 18 volts, we're going to have to lean on the TENMAs, which can do anything up to 30 volts. And this bit of cable, which I have spare, is probably about long enough to run behind there and then behind there and then out onto the bench. So we just want to get it in a format that it'll be usable. So what we're going to do is put banana plugs on that end, because that's what the interface for the TENMA power supply is. And then on the other end, we'll just put the old DC barrel male, and the male is traditionally the thing that provides the power, and then we'll have female versions of the cables to hook that into our power supply. So we can solve that problem depending on what kind of a circuit we're building. If we want to have DC into male jumper pins, or DC into alligator clips, or DC into other banana cables. So those are all options. But it all starts with having this available. So what we're going to do is just hope that it's long enough. It seems to be pretty long. What do you reckon? And then I'm going to have to figure out how to install it. I think I'll drop it in behind there, try and fish it out onto there, send it around there, wrap it around. I'll stick it onto the thing, and hopefully there'll be enough friction to keep it on the bench. And I don't see any reason not to leave it plugged in. Actually, it can probably just stay plugged in. So the rest of the video is just going to be over here on the bench, putting the bits and pieces together. So let's do that. Well, here we are on the bench, and here's our bits and pieces. We're just going to take off the zip tie that's holding this all together. Clip, clip, clip. There we go. Now this has actually got a joint in it. I seem to have taken two disparate bits and stuck them together with a cable. That shouldn't create any kind of problem for us. As I said, I think the wire is probably good enough for delivering the kind of currents that we'd be expecting, pretty low currents, but relatively high voltages, perhaps up to 30 volts. So this cable should be good enough, and it's about the best of all of my options anyway. So we're going to do all of the wiring first. There's no reason not to do the wiring first. And Yeah, after the wiring's all done, I'll feed it through. You won't have to trouble yourself about that. I'll look after that. So we just basically need to get the polarity right on a couple of wires. I'll throw the old soldering iron on. We'll put some water in our soldering iron sponge. So the other things that's missing here are the power cables. So we're going to need to get banana plugs, and we probably just use the ones from there. We don't need to cannibalize an existing cable. We can just use a fresh cable. And we'll put the black one on the side that has the black stripe. So let's see if we can find one of these. Do they look suitable? They kind of do. Oh, I just broke the container there. Let's see if we can get in there. All right. So here's a black one and a red one all the way down the bottom there. There we go. All right. So, pop that off and show which way it goes. I might try and get something a bit stronger. Here's a pair of pliers. I don't want to do any damage to the head. Let's see how we go. This has got a little clasp on it down here. Take that off. All right, let's see if we can get in there. Yeah, there we go. All right. It seems to have some sort of a screw in. I'm not sure exactly. Yeah, I don't know. How are we going to connect this? Yeah, it's really, it's not going to work. Oh, there we go. I see. Ah, very good. So it's got actually a screw on this end. I was expecting to solder it in, but it looks like it'll screw in. See if I can get a small screwdriver that'll fit in there. What about this one? Is that small enough? Nearly, not quite. Smaller still. Here we go. Here's a little one. Yep. So, okay. Well, all right. Now with uh, the banana plugs, okay. So the red one is on this side of things. So I think we can. What we'll do is we'll just bend that around so it's half. I might actually use these smaller little needle nose pliers for this job. We're just going to bend this around and then firm it up so it can go in on. Now we'll just put the insulation over the top. We'll want to put that over later on. All right. And let's pop this over the top and then we'll screw it in. All right. So hopefully this all works. I don't want it to come loose later on, so hopefully this is a secure fitting. And try and have some pressure in as we do it up. All right. I'm not sure how much we can really do about this. Just try and do it a bit tighter. Well, it seems to be fairly tight. What do you reckon? Seems to be okay. Just get it absolutely as tight as I can. Alright, and then we'll just pop the insulation back over the top. There it goes. There we go. Well, it seemed to have worked pretty well. So we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to need our negative side, which is here. And I haven't made a mistake there, which is good. I have to redo anything. Just pull this guy out of his insulation. Got him. And we'll pop him over here. And again, we're just going to fold it back a little bit so that we can install it in the thing. It's fairly good. Now let's hope we can do the same thing. Oh, this looks like it's been used before. Alright. There we go. Let's keep some pressure on it while we push it in. Let's try and get him in that little groove there. There we go. Is that going in? I think it is. Alright. So let's just pop him into his insulation. And there he is. Ripper. So, looks fairly good to me. Now the other end's going to be just this, and of course we're going to need a little bit of heat shrink, which will be no problem. So let me go and grab some heat shrink. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and this is my box of heat shrink. Looks like these ones will do. What do you reckon? And that'll probably do. Might be slightly bigger than necessary. Shouldn't be a problem. So let's see how we go with that. We're going to want to connect him to that end. So where's our end? Where's the other end? Not seeing it. You may. Oh, that's that bit. There it is. All right. So let's put the heat shrink on so we don't forget to do it. And oh, I got that wrong. Color's wrong. This is red, and this is black. The black stripe is for black. Now, we're going to need to strip a little bit of the insulation off the end of this wire. That's no problem. We'll do that quickly. So, is that a wire stripper? I think it is. Yeah, that'll do. So, what are we going to try it with? Let's try it with 16 gauge. That'll already do it. And same again over here. All right. Just put him away. We won't be needing him, I don't think. All right. So, our iron ought to be on. Let's just make sure that's on. It's warming up. Great. Now, where did that? There it is. All right. Well, let's do. What will we do first? I suppose we'll do negative first. So I'm just gonna bend it in half around itself, and and that'll take a bit of the mechanical stress. Same with this one, bend him around a bit. And then I'll twist up the black one a little bit. Let's put that out of the way while we're working on it. Now, there we go. Am I going to need the third hand? I suppose it wouldn't hurt. An extra hand in here. There we go. Let's see if we can just hold that there. It's fairly good. So we're just going to dump some solder into that. Let's see how we go. All right. Seems good enough to me. Shall we do the salt? I suppose we might as well just do the heat shrink so that it's all out of the way when we do the red one. So let's just apply some heat to the old heat shrink. All right, well, that seemed pretty good. So now let's just do the other side. Hopefully it's not too hot. I'm just going to bend this around a little bit. Let's do that. And bend him on. It is actually still a little bit warm. Burn my fingers. There we go. Just bend that around and loop him on there a little bit. That ought to be plenty good enough for our purposes. Did I forget to put the, yeah, looks like the heat shrink fell off. All right. All right, get some heat shrink on there. At least we figured it out before we soldered it, so it was only half a catastrophe. Okay. And bend him around. And that looks pretty good to me. So we'll just dump some solder in there. Now, where is the solder? Here it is. All right. That's pretty good. Put the heat shrink over the top. and we'll heat up the heat shrink. Ah. All right. Well, I might even try just one sort of surrounding bit of heat shrink. What have we got in the box? We got something that might fit. I'll just need to fit over that. If we got something that fits over that, we can use it. These ones will fit over, but they're way too big. That blue one looks pretty good. I wonder if that'll shrink down to something reasonable. May. I'm not even sure if it will fit. Hard to say. Is there are other colors of this. See if we can get our DC barrel jack through there. Maybe not actually. Let's see. We're pretty close if it goes. Whoa, yeah, it just goes. Alright. Well, let's just push that through. Is this worth doing? I'm not sure. Let's see. I'll put that over all of these. And there we go. So let's put it down to there. I don't know if this is necessary or useful or what, but I think we're going to do it. So let's get our hot air gun operational again, and let's see what happens with this. I'm going to turn the temperature up a bit, up to 200. All right, well, that seems to have worked. So, get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. Now I've just got to figure out how to send this through so we can plug it in and get power through to it. Let's turn the old soldering iron off because we're finished with that. All right. That seems to be fairly good. It's tempting to put some electrical tape around it. What do you think? Yeah, I might just put some electrical tape around that. I'm going to add some tape here. Might as well just do this quickly, huh? Hang on a sec. Alright, so there's a big honking wad of electrical tape to hold this thing together. And we might as well just run it out here. So that tape will go underneath the, underneath that. If we're lucky, it'll go underneath that. Let's see if we can figure out how to do that. I want to run the power underneath this, where this one is. I don't know if we'll be able to do that easily or not. Will that fit under there? It will. Okay, good. Well, I'm just going to feed that through. We should be able to do that. Get it under there. Is it going to go under? Get it under there. Let's push it in. Is he going to go through? Good if it did. Oh, there we go. Must be some blue tack or something in there. So let's just grab him. All right. And we run that power in there. Yeah, should be fairly good. We can keep him under there. Pretty happy about that. So now let's see if I can install this cable. I'll have a go at it and I'll report back in just a minute. I'll throw you over here. You can see things are in a state of disarray here. I've got all my drawers here. The benches are a bit clear. I've installed the wiring. So before I put everything away, I'm just going to test that it works. I'll throw you back over to the bench here. Oop. What are we trying to do? There we go. Now, this is female into banana. So we're going to connect that in there. And we use old Trusty here on DC voltage mode. And we'll plug him in here and here. So that should send a voltage through. We'll just send 5 volts through. So I'm going to come over here. I guess you might as well see me do this to the extent that you can. I'm going to turn on the power supply and we're going to turn the voltage down to 5 volts. And then we're going to turn him on. Where is on? There. All right, so we're sending through 5 volts. And if we jump back over here, we're reading 4.986 volts, which is good enough for me. There would be a tiny bit of resistance on the cable. It's a fairly long cable. So, yes, great. Well, I'm going to put everything back together. I'll come back and report in once that's done. All right, so I bumped the camera there. Straighten him up a bit for you. Now we ran our test, and that's done. What's not done is this is not labeled. So I'm just going to pop out the old label maker. Might as well do this in fast forward mode. All right, so there we go. TENMA power. Can you see that? It's my power out of my TENMA, and I can just stick it in back there and it'll stay on the bench. And if I need it, I can use it. So I think that's everything. Let's put those away and then we'll be done. I'll jump over to the farewell cam to wrap up. And that's a wrap. So yeah, just a humble electronics project today, making a cable. We've got it installed, which means that now we have everything that we'll need. If we need to deliver more than 18 volts, up to as many as 31 volts. I don't know if I'm actually going to need that for learning the art of electronics. We might be done with 30-volt experiments already, but if not, in future, I've got 30 volts available from my TENMA running through to the little cable on the bench here. Very easy for me to attach. I'll probably want a power switch in the circuit on this side so I can turn it on and off, but of course I've got a number of those, so that will be no problem. Yes, okay, so that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching, and please remember to hit like and subscribe.